Welcome to Astrology Valley, where we uncover the secrets of the universe and bring them straight to you. In this reading, we're going to be looking at the question, what can you do to improve your current relationship? Congratulations on picking the 10 tarot cards that will answer your love question. Of course, that question again is, what can you do to improve your current relationship? Let me slowly reveal the 10 cards to you and answer your question in detail. The way that this is going to work is I'm going to flip each card over one at a time. With each card I flip over, I'm going to give you a full description of that card and its meaning. Once all the cards have been flipped over and described, I will tell you how the cards are working together to be able to reveal the answer to your question, what can you do to improve your current relationship? And we will get answers to that question. In fact, we might even get multiple answers. Let's go ahead and start with the first card. Now, the question once again is, what can you do to improve your current relationship? Let's find out with the first card. The first card that we have is the Eight of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords represents that after the struggle, there is time of quick movement and unstoppable action. You have an overflowing of energy and spirit to add to your tasks and your projects. Absolute and piercing willpower combined with swift and sure execution. Rapid action is represented in this card. Movement is represented in this card. And quick decisions. One of the other things in this card that's actually really important to the question about what can you do to improve your current relationship? One of the important things is that the card talks about having the energy, creating movement. Okay. So this card actually discusses and talks about you have to want to improve. Okay. So starting first, the first thing that you need to do to improve your current relationship is you need to have the genuine want and desire to improve your relationship. If you do have the genuine want and desire to improve the relationship, you will be motivated to take action. Okay, and in this case, this card represents taking rapid action. Because you can always improve your relationship. It's just about when do you take action. Okay? When you're motivated to. Okay? And usually when you're motivated to do it, it happens quickly. Let's take a look at the next card that we have here, and this is the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is actually a pretty significant card, at least it will be to this reading, because we're talking about what can you do to improve your current relationship? Well, though the Hanged Man is swinging upside down in this card, the serenity on the man's facial expressions seem to communicate that he's doing this of his own free will. The Hanged Man understands the value of sacrifice. One must take a step backwards in order to move ahead. This card represents sacrifice, release, and martyrdom. So, how do you improve your current relationship? Well, your current relationship is a partnership. Both of you should be working towards the same goals, but more importantly, sometimes one or both of you may have to make sacrifices or compromises in order to move things forward, to improve things over time. Let's go ahead and look at the next card that we have here. And the next card that we have here is the King of Cups. Let's talk about the King of Cups right now. Now, the King of Cups is a person who is in touch with their emotions and intuition and is able to channel them into action. It can signal the arrival of an invitation into something that will be the cause of celebration. The King of Cups represents a messenger, it represents romance, and it represents adventure. Okay, well, hey, let's talk about how to improve your current relationship. Romance, adventure is talked about in this card. Of course, getting in touch with your emotions is also something that is really important. Now, communicating with your partner is one thing. And of course, communication, very, very important. But something that a lot of people overlook is how they are feeling, okay? Getting in touch with your own emotions, understanding what it is that you want from the relationship, how you react to things. This is actually important, not only to make sure that you're getting what you need from the relationship, but also to understand how you react to things so that you can mitigate or minimize the negative reactions that happen that may be perceived as inappropriate. It also talks about intuition. Okay, getting in touch with your intuition, and as well, getting in touch with your emotions and feelings will allow you to understand the situation more and maybe even make you a bit more emotionally intelligent towards the needs of your partner. Okay, let's take a look at the next card that we have here. The next card that we have here is the Ace of Cups. Now, the Ace of Cups represents bringing love back in. Okay, as with other Ace cards, the Ace of Cups symbolizes new beginnings. It is the start of the feeling of emotional fulfillment and represents the joy of giving and getting in return. So this talks about a rejuvenation of love. This talks about overflowing feelings, and it talks about creativity. Well, what does creativity have to do with overflowing feelings and rejuvenating love? Everything. Everything. Because to keep things fun in a relationship, creativity is an important way. Having fun, imagining, using your imagination to envision things, what you want to do, moving things forward, doing spontaneous things to show your partner that you really care about them and you love them. Of course, we talked a little bit in this card about getting in touch with emotions. This card kind of talks about getting in touch with a bit more of the sexual aspects of a relationship, making things fun, showing them that you care. Physical love, physical emotions. Okay? All good things. Let's take a look at the next card that we have here. And we have the Sun. Okay, and we're going to talk about the Sun here. The Sun represents, well, the Sun symbolizes the success of the conscious mind in overcoming any obstacles and fears of the unconscious, usually through the attainment of knowledge. It represents bringing in joy, success, celebration, and positivity. Well, that's actually something to think about here. Okay? The Sun talks about success to overcome fears in the unconscious. Okay, so this talks about those fears and worries and being able to conquer them. Okay, if you are experiencing fears and worries in relation to your relationship, especially if you feel like your relationship needs to be improved, a lot of those things that need to be improved, you're probably already getting warning signs of through your fears and worries. Okay. Now, sometimes fear and worries are good. Other times, fears and worries work against you and stop you from moving forward. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that your fears and worries don't stop you from taking action. That's number one. Number two here, you want to make sure that anything that you are afraid of is being addressed, and you make the changes necessary with the relationship, or more importantly, within yourself, to prevent these fears and worries from causing obstacles in the relationship. Most importantly, fears and worries that prevent you from taking action and prevent you from being happy and bringing happiness to your partner. Let's take a look at the next card. The next card we have is the Emperor. Okay. The Emperor, while the Emperor represents the archetypal, or while the Empress represents the archetypal mother, the Emperor represents the father. He exudes authority, and though he is stern, he is also filled with wisdom and understanding of his years. He signals security, stability, and the rule of thought over the heart. There we go. See it better? Sorry about that. This card represents authority, structure, control, and sometimes fatherhood. This card talks about being in charge, but not necessarily you being in charge, but it represents kind of both of you being in charge. Making important buildings, coming up with a structure, a game plan. Okay? Coming up with a way forward by setting rules, creating a structure, ways that you can maintain control over the relationship. Both of you can maintain control over a relationship. This is something that's actually extremely important. Both of you being on the same page. Now, this all comes through with good communication, good planning, and definitely having an understanding of your own emotions, okay, and what it is that you want. You'll be able to have good communication with your partner to establish what it is that you want from the relationship. And if they're in touch with their emotions, they'll be able to have communication with you to tell you what they're looking for. That way you're both on the same plan, and you can create a plan, a structure, and in turn have control over the direction in which you guys choose, the both of you choose to move your lives forward. Let's take a look at the next card that we have here. The next card that we have here is the Five of Cups. Okay? We're going to talk about that right now. The Five of Cups, this card, okay, signifies the despair and sadness associated with loss. 3 cups have overturned and 2 of them are still upright, indicating that there is still a chance to salvage what has been lost. This card represents loss, grief, and disappointment. Of course, we all know that no relationship is perfect. Good and bad things do happen over the course of the relationship, and regardless of how good your relationship is, you will experience the feeling of loss at one time or another. You can't always win all the time. You're going to lose some things along the way. But the key to this is not allowing your loss to turn into fear. To not allow the losses that you may experience in this relationship to turn into depression, to turn into sadness. Knowing that even though 3 cups have turned over, 2 cups are still standing, which means there's always a way forward. Don't let the feeling of loss motivate you to give up on this relationship. That's the last thing that you want to do, especially if you're looking to improve the relationship. And know that there is always a way forward. Let's talk about this card a little bit more, the Lost card. Of course, we see the person, they're wearing black, their head is down, they're looking at the cups that have fallen over, the liquid that spilled all over that they'll never have again. Of course, their focus is on what was lost. Now, where are they looking to go? Well, if they're following suit with this reading, then them and their partner have a plan about the direction that they want to go. And just because you have a loss doesn't mean you can't right the ship. You can still move in that positive direction. Now look at the visuals of this card right now just for a moment. Now, why are they disappointed that their cups have fallen over? Well, because they've lost the liquid within it. But this short-term loss in their mind may be preventing them from reaching their goal, which is this castle or town off into the distance. Of course, because of the loss, all this person is seeing is what's been lost. They're not seeing what they still have. In fact, if their goal is to get to this castle or town in the distance, because they felt lost and they feel sad and they're worried and they have doubt, they see the river in front of them, see that river? And they say, I can't cross that river. But they're only focused on what was lost. They're not focusing on what they still have and what can still be built. In fact, if this person simply turned around and looked behind them, they would see that they still have 2 cups standing. And they would also see that there's a bridge that leads across the water. Nothing is ever as bad as anybody perceives it to be. And this is one of the important parts about positive thinking, positive attitude. And there's people all over who talk about positive thinking, positive energy, positive attitude. Believing that you're stuck or believing that you failed, if you believe that, then you have failed. But if you keep trying, you will never fail. It's only when we give up that we fail. So if you're currently looking to improve your current relationship, the first step is don't give up on the relationship. Yes, you might make mistakes along the way in the relationship. Yes, there might be loss that you experience in the relationship, or accidents or circumstances that are out of your control that could lead to negative energy coming into your relationship, negative feelings, negative emotions. But as long as you don't give up on that relationship and you keep working, you keep moving forward, you can never lose. It's when one or both of you give up on the relationship, that's when the relationship is lost. Until one or both of you gives up, the relationship is still a success, despite the obstacles. And there will be obstacles. Let's take a look at the next card that we have here. We got 3 cards left. The next card that we have here is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups represents a person who is in touch with their emotions and intuition and is able to channel them into action. It can signal the arrival of an invitation into something that will be the cause of celebration. This card represents receiving a message. It represents romance and adventure. Romance and adventure. That sounds fantastic to me. But something to note about this card, and this is what I want to point out. It talks about a person who is in touch with their emotions and intuition, and he's able to channel that intuition into action. That's kind of what I've been talking about in this card. It's all about your frame of mind. Okay? If you believe you failed, if you believe that there's no way that you can bring this relationship back, if you feel that there's no way to improve the relationship, well, guess what? You never will. But if you have faith, if you believe, if you use your intuition and you're able to channel your emotions and your energy into positive action to keep moving forward, you'll win. You'll keep winning. Everybody's all about reaching a goal. Everybody's always about winning. But as long as the relationship is still going, you're winning. Relationships don't lose until they're over. And even sometimes when relationships end, both people are relieved and it's still a win. But know that giving up is the last thing that you should do, especially if you're looking to improve. And know that continuing in the relationship. And note that having the desire to continue and the desire to improve the relationship already means that you're heading in the right direction. And positive change will happen. Let's take a look at the next card that we have here. And this one is another really important card. This is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands talks about you being close to achieving a victory after a time of battle and hard work. You have spent time pursuing what you believe to be right, though it may be difficult and draining. You are reaching a point of exhaustion, but there is only a small way to go before your ultimate goal. This card represents resilience, pushing forward, and the last stretch, and this is exactly what I've been talking about. Pushing forward, not giving up. And it might not be easy. It might be difficult. Relationships can be challenging. But know that as long as you don't give up, you will eventually succeed. Now, the person in this card has a bandage over their head. It looks like they've been through a hell of a battle. But they've succeeded. They've won. And they'll continue to succeed and win as long as they keep trying. Let's take a look at the last card that we have for this reading. And of course, once this last card is pulled, we'll look at what all the cards are saying together. We'll look at all the different ways that you can improve your current relationship. Here we go. Oh, what a wonderful way to end this reading. The last card that we have here is Temperance. Temperance represents taking the middle road, finding a balance in life that allows you to attain a sense of calm. When it relates to the external world, it also means adapting, cooperation, and meditation. This card represents the middle path. This card represents patience. And it represents finding meaning. Of course, when you're in a relationship with somebody, there's two people. Okay? And it's all about the two of you finding balance together. It's about making decisions together. It's about sharing how you feel. It's about finding that middle ground. Now, the Hangman talks about making a willing sacrifice in order to move forward. Of course, to find balance, both people in the relationship will need to be making sacrifices in order to move things forward in a really positive way. And sometimes things might be difficult. The two of you may be struggling a little. There may be a little bit of fighting or a battle. This is perfectly normal. You will, at some point in your relationship, experience loss in one form or another. and note that that's expected. We got two cards here that kind of talk about balance, maintaining balance, keeping things going, bringing passion and emotion into the relationship. Improving that passion is a really great way to improve the current relationship. Overcoming obstacles, that's a very positive card, of course, knowing that you can overcome obstacles. Know that once an obstacle is identified and discovered, then you can take action to fix it, making a willing sacrifice. Of course, one of the number one ways to improve your current relationship is through communication. Communication is key, but also being a united front. The Emperor card indicates that somebody's in charge. Now, if only one person is in charge in the relationship, well, it might not go as smoothly. So definitely look at the situation and make decisions together. Make decisions, make plans, so that you know the direction of which your relationship is headed. We talked about loss already. The King of Cups talks about moving forward in a positive way, making things happen. In this reading, we actually covered within each card's descriptions, many ways, many things that can be done, many actions that can be taken. Be it physical changes, perception changes, thinking about your emotions on the inside, how things affect you, and of course, open dialogue, communication, listening to your partner, listening to what they say, truly listen to what they need. And if you don't know what's going wrong, if you don't know what they need, you need to have a discussion with them and have regular, open communication in a manner that's not judging. Know that every relationship experiences losses in one way or another. Know that every relationship has its challenges, and sometimes it might feel like you're fighting a battle. But provided you don't give up on the relationship, provided that you don't walk away from the relationship or you don't quit trying, you'll continue to have success and you'll continue to be winning. Your relationship only fails when one or both of you decides to end it. As long as you're both trying, the relationship will continue to improve. Pay attention to yourself, your feelings, how you're feeling. Pay attention and try to decide what it is that you want from your relationship. Share those feelings with your partner. Allow your partner to share their feelings with you. And listen to their wants, desires, and requests, not with judgment, not with fear, not with worry, but with acceptance, and be open to it. What can you do to improve your relationship? Everything that we've talked about in this reading. But nothing is more important than listening and working together as a team to continue having success in your relationship. That's it for this reading, and on behalf of Astrology Valley, I thank you.